Kaker Hawkeye Report. Wanted to ask you about the special teams errors, the snaps. Was that just wet ball? Was it anything else?
I assume it had to be. I didn't ask, but yeah, we just haven't had that this year, like in a long, long time. So, yeah, the first one wasn't quite. The ball took off on him, and then didn't have a great play after that as a result. And then obviously the ball in the end zone there. So it had to be that, but fortunately we settled down and did better after that. But it was certainly a factor.
Tyler Tashman with the Des Moines Register. In terms of the run defense, it seemed like they really were able to, build momentum in the running game. What did you just see from what they were doing and maybe what you guys weren't able to do in terms of stopping the run?
Yeah, I think I'd give them the credit. We've been pretty consistent for a long time stopping the run, and that's a key thing in football. Yeah, it was a factor tonight, certainly, because, it's just tough to play good defense if you're not controlling the run or at least minimizing some of the bigger plays and that type of thing. So those guys, you saw them out there. They're a big physical group up front. We knew that. It was going to be a challenge. And then their backs are really good. They've got really three really good backs back there. And the freshman kid's really giving them a good, they've started to lean on him a little bit more. He's done a great job as well. So I don't think, it wasn't like we were terrible. I think they were good. And we're going to have to obviously try to minimize that moving forward. I don't think it's going to become a problem for us, but we'll address it and see what we can do better.
Chad likes to go to one register. You honored the 15 team here in this game. Brings back memories of the Big Ten title game a little bit. You get that euphoric score on one end and then give up a crushing loss on the other by 2. And I'm just kind of curious how you as a coach process this, crushing defeat and trying to pick your team back up, like with a lot of dreams now gone.
Well, yeah, I'm not big on the dream thing, but it's really the second loss like this to this year, in my opinion, where, two teams are just going back and forth and competing really hard. And coincidentally, both those teams we lost were really good. Yeah. And I think, we might be in that category too. We're not far off. So the trick is, how do we get up there to one more notch? How do we get, close that thing out a little bit better? But it's not one player, it's not one possession necessarily. Everything kind of goes together and everything matters at the end. So, let's go back to work. And the good news is that, these guys we get to work with every day are just extremely resilient. Mm-hmm. They've been that way since we got started. And I can't imagine, they're going to feel bad tomorrow. We all do. And, a lot invested here. But again, there's a lot forward. And we're not going to be undefeated this year, but there's a lot of great things that still happen. And to me, at the end of the year, you evaluate how you feel about yourself. Like, what would you do? What'd you invest? How'd you compete? And that's what this game's supposed to teach us.
Hey, Kirk, Elliot Clough, Hawkeye Insider. In that same vein, scoring late, I haven't had a ton of those types of things happen in the last, a few years, but to get the ball and have your defense be called to make a stop, I guess maybe what didn't work on that last drive? Was it the same thing that you were seeing throughout the game? What didn't work for the defense?
Yeah, I mentioned rebounding or, bouncing back, and that our first TG drive, that was critical. We were down 9-0. We had to do something before the half, and I thought that was an outstanding drive. Another good drive there in the second half where we turned it over, unfortunately, and that cost us points, which obviously factors in at the end. And then, that last drive was outstanding. And it was do or die. We had basically 4 plays down there from the 10 to either score or not, or score or go home, basically. And sometimes that's going to happen. We just in the last throw they made, throw and catch them. It's just, you talk about a matter of inches. It's a great throw. Guy did a good job bringing it in. TJ had great coverage, and he's been playing his ass off all year. So, sometimes that's football. When you play a team like Oregon, you got to be right there. And there's nothing easy. So this is the kind of game we were hoping it would be, and we just couldn't quite get it done.